Over the past 24 hours, the Ukrainian Air Force carried out 17 sorties on Russian troop concentration areas and 4 more on enemy air defense systems. A Russian Su-25 attack aircraft and 4 reconnaissance drones were also destroyed. In a report by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine at 6 a.m. on 7 June, published on Facebook, over the past few days, the enemy launched 35 missile attacks using air-launched cruise missiles Kano-1 and 55 all missiles destroyed by the Air Defense Forces and Minsk Air Force. The Ukrainian Armed Forces also the enemy launched 41 sorties and 57 MLS raids in addition to the Russian terrorists committing other war crimes to prevent the advance of Ukrainian troops. They blew up the internal structure of the Kavkaz PP. As a result of the terrorist attack, about 80 settlements were in the flood area. The enemy continued to focus its main efforts on attempt to completely occupy the Luhansk and Donetsk territories. Over the past 24 hours, over 30 skirmishes occurred since Putin's partial mobilization in September 2022. No Russian soldiers fighting in Ukraine allowed to leave troops. Vladimir Putin reportedly convinced more soldiers to join his army, ignoring the long-term effects of his draconian military rule, according to a defense analyst. American defense analyst Dara Masik. The Russian military will face mass PTSD and a mental health crisis as soon as the war in Ukraine ends. Russia's wartime military personnel policy, instituted last September, temporarily prohibits active duty and mobilizing soldiers leaving service. Russia faces a crisis in military retention and a larger social crisis of mental health disorders veterans. When these restrictions are lifted, Russian troops have claimed more casualties in 16 last year months. And within a decade of the war in Afghanistan in the 1980s, or the 2 campaigns in Chechnya in the 1990s, casualty estimates vary from official Russian tolls from late last year of just under 6,000 killed in action to more than 23,000 confirmed military burials, according to BBC and Zone Media for Western military estimates. From 40,000 to 60,000 killed in action, with 100,000 to 240,000 injured. Whether it happened despite the Kremlin's efforts to provide assistance to veterans returning from war, the country still lacks the necessary facilities to cope with the large scale of Stark's warning to Putin coming when Ukrainian troops accused Russia of blowing up a massive dam and hydroelectric plant in the Russian-controlled part of southern Ukraine, sending water gushing from the facility that was breached and at risk of massive flooding. Ukrainian authorities ordered hundreds of thousands of residents downstream of the river to evacuate. Russian officials counted that the Kakhovka Dam was damaged by a Ukrainian military offensive in a contested area. Largest nuclear power plant and drained drinking water supplies to the south, and Crimea, which was illegally annexed by Russia due to the bursting of the dam. adds a complex new element to Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine, now in its 16th month, as Ukrainian forces are widely seen advancing in long-anticipated counterattacks on patches of more than 1,000-kilometer-long front line in eastern and southern Ukraine. Ukrainian nuclear operator Energoatom said in a Telegraph statement that the dam explosion could have negative consequences for the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant near the dam, but at the moment the situation is under control. Videos posted online are starting to testify to the spill, one showing floodwaters inundating a long way, another show for beaver rushes to highlands from rising water. Zelensky calls emergency meeting to deal with crisis, Ukrainian officials say.